I'm an illustrator. I'm a comic book artist, a graphic novelist, and I freelance.
I'm Ian Boothby, currently live in Vancouver. Make my living as a writer, an improviser, comedian, and I also write The Simpsons and Futurama comics.
My name's Jason Pultz, and I'm a web comic artist.
In high school, I had this guy come up to me and he wanted me to draw dragons for his comic book. So I was totally into it, and I never thought about doing comics. So after that, I picked up an issue of The Darkness, and I thought that was the best thing I've ever seen. So after that, I just was like snowballed into me getting into comic books, drawing them all the time, and going to comic book conventions. The industry side was that I thought to myself that I could actually do it as a job, and because it was something that I found that I really wanted to do it all the time and I couldn't stop doing it, and then that's why I thought, well, people do it as a career, so why can't I?
So on the one hand, comics, the superhero variety, are very comforting and enjoyable, and you know they're great, but I do find them a great medium for expression.
It's so amazing to me what people can do, because so many people take comic books as a joke almost. They think it's really goofy, and I think in the beginning it was, but what they've become and what a lot of artists now are trying to do with comics is so much more than just superpowers. And I think that comics, they've come a long way, and what people are doing with them right now, it's actually it's more of an expression of who they are, the artist and the writer, and it's this team coming together.
I've had emails from, 50-year-old ladies saying that they pass on some of my racier comics about dating to like their other friend who's like 55, just because they're trying to pump each other up a little bit because they're both getting back into the dating scene, at like such a late age. Or I get emails from, moms and their young sons that joke about my comics. They read them in the daily paper on the subway to school or something. I think the weirdest one I got was the zinc miners of Canada. Apparently every day the secretary would clip out my comic from the paper and then fax it down to the zinc miners in the mine below, so they could all have a big joke, big laugh. So I guess if I'm raising spirits out there or down in the well, I'm okay with all of that. So it's what keeps me going, the nice letters.
Hey, it's a dog. I heard that dogs have magical powers. Hey there. I was wondering.
Stop looking at me.
There are actual websites talking about how much they hate my writing. And if you let that get to you, you're just going to stop. The internet is both a blessing and a curse to any creative person, because you can always see praise for your work, but you can also see people, as mean as they can be, tearing you apart because they've got that anonymous cloak around them and don't have to be held accountable for what they're saying.
It's a really hard industry. So my family is as supportive as they've ever been. They're behind me like 110% now. So in the beginning, though, it's always a little tough.
If you rely on passion to keep working, you will soon stop working. Because I think the passion that you start off with will always ebb and flow. That's just the nature of passion. It rises, it falls. Passion will get you started, passion will get you going, but then you have to make it into a job. You have to make it into a job. It can be a job that you love, and that's what I do. I love my job. But even on the days that you don't love your job, you've got to go in and you've got to do it. If you go long enough and you realize you actually hate what you're doing, then for God's sake, quit and find something else.
I'm not making the kind of money I could be getting if I was a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist, but I'm trying to make people laugh, and it's just come to the point where, this is what I enjoy doing, and this is sort of what I can give back to society. It's like I can't really stand the sight of blood and I'm really bad with math, but I can draw you little monsters and make them say funny things. So that's all I got. So, and believe me, it's a lot harder to make people laugh and laugh out loud as you think. So that's what I do.
The most important thing you have to learn about this industry is that it is really hard and you'll never be rich. And the only people who don't make it are the ones who want to get rich. And they're the ones that don't have the heart for it. You have to have the heart. You have to want it bad enough. And those are the people that are remembered and that make it in the industry. And after 5 years, I've hung in there. And I've got 3 books coming out this year. So I think that my hard work is definitely going to pay off. And I'm going to be there till the end.
Here comes the Human Torch, flying up ahead. Member of the Fantastic Four, led by Mr. Fantastic. The Invisible Girl, Mr. Fantastic and the Human Torch. Hey, it's a thing. Arch enemy, Dr. Doom. Fantastic. Arch enemy, Dr. Doom. Arch enemy. Mr. Fantastic can stretch all day.